Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders What podcast. Today, I have another wonderful guest for you that I met through our common good friend Jay's mastermind a few weeks ago. Ianthe, did I say your name correctly?
Yes, you did, Ianthe.
Ianthe, beautiful name from what I remember from a Greek name.
Yes.
Greek meaning. Yeah, we'll get into that. So we connected, as I said, a few weeks ago. We had a wonderful chat after that, and then right away I knew that I had to bring her on the podcast to have her share a story. She has a beautiful story, and above all, she has a very powerful mission, because what she's doing is as she helps Christian female coaches and course creators automate their sales and marketing systems, and she supports. And her motto is very beautiful. She supports system sisterhood in Christ. She's very heart-centered, very God-driven, and this is something that also I'm like that as well myself. So, and plus she's doing a lot of good things. We just had a conversation for half an hour about lifestyle, about things. So yeah, she has a lot to share. She has a big heart. She wants to not only helping businesses but also people to increase their profits so they can give more to amplify their impact, which is exactly what I'm all about. And this is why we connected. And as soon as I heard that, I said, listen, I'll be honored to have you on a podcast. And here she is. So Ianthe, welcome back. Sorry, welcome to the show, because I know we'll bring you back. So I'm anticipating. So welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure on mine. So first and foremost, how are you doing today? Or rather tonight, because it's evening for you, it's morning here for me in Malaysia, but you're in New Jersey, New York. So how are you tonight and today?
I'm doing great. I had a very busy day. I met a good friend that I actually met on Facebook, and we met in person. It was a divine connection, like he said.
Beautiful.
So he had overlay flight. His flight got canceled, and we got to meet face to face, and it was really a blessing.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, the types of conversation I like to have is, sure, we're going to talk about your business, your impact and all that. But what I really want to know is to have a look under the hood, so to speak, to see what's in your heart, to get to know you. Who's Ianthe as a person, as a human being, before the business lady? So tell us, for people who don't know you, who's Ianthe as a person, as a human being?
Well, I am a mother. I am a wife. I am a daughter. I am a friend. I believe in showing love first and foremost. I believe in serving. And one of the things that I truly, truly believe in, that you never know what you're going to do to impact someone's life. So just smiling and just showing that love on a day-to-day basis in everything that you do, even if it's the littlest thing, can change someone's life.
Absolutely.
So that's a thing.
Totally. Absolutely. Now, to start off with, I'd like to ask you a series of rapid fire questions to further get to know you. Ready?
Yes, go.
What makes you happy as a person?
I was asked this question today. You know what makes me happy? And I guess that's just the mom in me. I love to see my kids smile. When I see them and I peep at them from afar and they don't see me looking, they're having a hearty laugh with each other, or they're having a hearty laugh with a good friend. Just to see them smile and laugh full on, that full body smile that your children are happy, that just warms my heart.
Absolutely.
It really does.
What makes you smile?
What makes me smile? I love good music. I love being silly. I love to dance when no one's watching, of course. But those are the things that makes me smile.
Now, let's take the happiness factor a couple of notches higher. What makes your heart sing? What brings your soul on fire?
Worship.
Oh.
Worship, just worshiping to the point where you start to cry and you really feel the Holy Spirit taking over you. That's just divine. It's that Jesus joy that, you don't necessarily know when you're going to walk into that. That's why worship is just something that I enjoy. When you get that download, it's just beyond words.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, what makes you sad and angry?
Injustice. Injustice breaks my heart. Seeing people that cannot defend themselves, and that are treated badly and wrongly and unjustly, that breaks my heart.
I'm with you on that. Now, what scares you?
What scares me, not being able to live to my full potential. I don't remember who said it. I think I heard Myron, a speaker, Myron Golden, say that the most it has to do with the cemetery. Like the richest places on earth is a cemetery, because so many people are buried with their dreams, their hope, their blessings, their aspirations. So that's what scares me. Not thinking that I'm not doing enough, thinking I'm not being enough.
That's so powerful. That is so beautiful, so true. Absolutely. Now, what would you say is your number one personal superpower?
My number one superpower. I would say strategy. My husband would say planning, but strategy. I love solving problems. Like, it's not homework, it's not hard, it's not stressful, it's just automatic for me.
Yes. Now, you love traveling, right?
Yes.
Let me take you down a different type of traveling, down memory line. Go back to when we were a kid. You know, when we were a kid growing up, people around us, friends, family, relatives, teachers always ask us, Ianthe, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer to that question as a little girl?
A lawyer.
Wow.
That was my, yes.
Did you have someone in the family that inspired you, or just found it cool to be a lawyer?
No, I always had this thing about injustice. So when I was a little girl, I, grew up, and I forget his name. He wore Matlock,
Okay.
and he dealt with a lot of lawyers. And I always felt like, if I can do something like this, I can defend justice. So it was definitely a lawyer.
Are you a Libra?
No.
Oh, I'm a Libra. So for me, that's something that's justice is very big for us. So what's your sign?
I'm Aries.
Oh, okay. That's also a good one. Absolutely. Let's stay to when you were a young kid. What was your relationship growing up with school? Did you love school or did you hate school?
I love school. Always love school.
What was your favorite subject?
Definitely English, literature.
Why?
It was my escape. I'm the oldest of three. I have two younger sisters, and most of the time, with my parents working, I would be big sister and kind of like mommy. My mother tells me, I taught my little sister how to read and, things like that. So that was my escape from all the responsibilities I had, just escaping into stories and reading and feeling like I'm involved in the story, and I'm seeing it from characters' points of view. So that was always been my favorite subject.
And what was your least favorite subject?
Math.
Me too.
Math was not a favorite of mine. I had to learn the basics and excel at it. And I remember when I had to take a calculus class to graduate college, I was like so fearful of it. But turns out that I'm pretty good at calculus. I just wasn't good at like the algebra and the geometry parts. So
what was it that made you not like math? Was it a teacher that turned you off, or was it just math just bored you to death?
it was a little of both. I had experience with a teacher that didn't have the patience to really go over things with me, and that turned into not understanding it. And as you know, I believe it's geometry 1, then geometry 2, then algebra 1, and then algebra 2. All of the math concepts build upon each other. And so because I lacked that foundation with that bad experience, I was not able to take that into the other classes. But thankfully I passed by the skin of my teeth, but I passed.
Well, I had to take statistics 2 times to pass it, because just I'm not a detail guy, I'm a high picture guy. I was just falling asleep, just like the details would bore me to death.
Crazy, but again, I passed that. I got an A.
Yeah.
It was just
Wow.
geometry and algebra. I don't know.
Exactly. Now, what kind of students let's say that we were in the same class in grade 10, 11. Were you the chatterbox? Were you the life of the class? Were you the quiet nerd, the shy girl? What kind of student and girl were you back
I
then?
was pretty quiet. I went to a school where I was skipped in my grades, so I was kind of like the
Oh,
youngest in my class. So I was pretty quiet
mm,
for the most part. And the few people that did get to know me, they thought I was the life of the party. They thought I was hilarious. So I was that quiet person until you got to know me, and then it was like, wow, she's pretty cool. She's quirky, but she's pretty cool.
yeah, same here. Were you into sports?
Yes, I ran track. I played volleyball and I played
Nice.
basketball.
Mm. And while you were in school in high school, were you popular with the boys?
Not really. I had my moments, but I actually married my high school sweetheart
Oh,
and we
wow.
hid our relationship for quite a while in school.
Oh, wow. Okay, beautiful. Awesome. What was your very first job? And do you remember how much you made for that first job?
Oh yes. My very first job was at a supermarket. I believe it was Fresh Goods. Oh no, sorry, Food Town.
Ah, okay.
And I must have gotten paid $5.25 or something like that.
Wow.
I remember that. I remember that clearly.
Wow. Yeah.
That was before the scanners. It was when you had to input all
Oh, wow.
yeah, and then your drawer would be empty at the end of the night, and you're like, well, I thought I did it right. But yeah, that was my first job at Food Town.
Nice, nice, nice. How long did you last at that job?
I only did it for a summer,
Okay.
not even a full summer, maybe a month and a half during the summer. And then a friend of mine, uncle, who used to renovate houses at the time said, hey, again, I'm making 575, I think. Hey, would you like to make $300 a week? I was like, wait a minute, what do I have to do? And it was like, I just need you to come and help design these houses and clean them up after I buy them and do like,
Nice.
laying plastic tiles, painting the oven and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm out of here. And so that's how I got into real estate. So
See you. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay. So speaking of that,
absolutely gone.
yeah, absolutely. How would you describe your path from the moment you left school to now? Would you say it was pretty much straightforward, smooth sailing? Once you get into one lane, you were set for life, or was it more like a turns and twists, like a roller coaster?
It was turns and twists, but all the dots connected.
Mm,
It wasn't a linear path, but the cause and my role remained the same. I
mm,
have always been in a support role, whether it
mm.
be help desk support, whether it be supporting renovating houses and doing the decoration and supporting that way, whether it be a project manager leading teams and supporting that way, whether it be coaching like I do now, supporting my clients. I've always been in the support role. And there's no real job title named support. You know what I mean? So every place along the way has always led to that support.
Beautiful. One thing that I've noticed myself in my life and everybody I talk to is whatever we do in life at every specific period of our time, our life, that prepares us for the next stage, prepares us for the next stage. Would you say it was the same for you?
Yes, yes. Even the most difficult things and people and situations that I've been put in my past. And I look back and I say, wow, I learned that from this bad situation I was in. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
So speaking of that, where you are right now, what is it teaching you? And what's next for you? What's the next chapter of your life after that's preparing you for what you're doing now? And what are you learning and how is that preparing you for your next phase of your journey?
Well, right now I am in a support role. I think and I know I'm going to be in that support role probably till the day I close my eyes for good. So it's just growing stronger in leadership, to be honest. Every step along the way, I've climbed a little bit higher on that leadership ladder, been given more responsibility, been given more tasks and different situations, different types of people where you had to put on maybe a transformational leadership hat, and maybe sometimes you had to be a more transactional leader. So all of this is leading me to increase my leadership skills and capacity in order to give more and support better, because the more you know about someone, the better that you can support that. And support to me is a role of leadership. I don't necessarily, I'm not necessarily your manager, your boss, your supervisor, but as a coach, there is a leadership, a leader and a kind of like a mentor and a mentee, a coach and a coachee type of leadership situation. So I think that is all leading me down that path.
Awesome. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But first, I have one more question about that for you. And that is, there's a saying that says, change your story internally to change your reality externally. So when you, Ianthe, were at some of your lowest, darkest time of your life so far, how did you change your story inside your head to change your reality outside?
This too shall pass.
Sorry.
Every time I was in a and things. Did you get that? Every time I was in a bind or in a place where there was stress in my life, thinking this too shall pass, and having that faith that it will pass, and it has always passed. So that has taught me that no matter that, I'm not going to be there forever. Joy.
Indeed. Indeed. Wow. All right. Thank you. That was awesome. Now let's move forward. Tell us about what is your impact now? What are you doing to make the world a better place and to make people around you? What is your impact? What are you doing now?
First and foremost, I'm leading with love. That's a big aspect of what I do on a day-to-day basis in everything that I do. From my next door neighbor, a package is left outside, I pick it up, text, hey, I got your package. Hope you're having a great day. To speaking to my clients all through the day today and supporting them and asking for love. How are you doing? Do you need any help? And being able to fully and actively listen. So that's the first thing I'm doing. Secondly, I am coaching, and I am bringing these Christian female coaches and course creators through different processes to help them streamline their businesses so they can to be out there and they can to do the impact that God wants them to do in whatever business marketplace that they're in. So those are the two things that I do every day, every single day, no matter what. I wake up and those are some of the things that has to be done in that day. Either it's with a client, it can be with a friend, it can be with my mother, it can be with my sisters, it can be with one of my children's friends or one of their friends' parents. It doesn't matter. Those are the two things. Lead with love and be love in everything that I do, and also be able to work with the people I coach to bring them the transformation they need to make the impact that they want to make.
Beautiful. Tell us more about your program. Is it one-on-one? Is it a small group?
I've recently stopped accepting one-on-ones in order to work one-to-many because it's to a point where my time is getting limited, and it would make more sense to open up the group to more people that want to learn. And since there's a technology aspect, it's easier to do. I want to start doing implementation segments where not only we coach and we talk about these things, but I actually want people to take action. Because if you don't take action, you're not doing anything and you're not going to receive that transformation. So there's two types of transformation. There's obviously intrinsic and extrinsic. And intrinsic transformation comes with speaking and understanding your awareness and your change. And extrinsic comes with actually taking action and seeing these things come into fruition. So that's something that I want to go from one-to-one, which is that intrinsic coaching, and take it to the extrinsic, which is let's implement and start doing some implementation sessions. So in my program right now, we're going to move from that into extrinsic, where I'm doing that right now in my Facebook group. So we have mini trainings where you come into the group and you actually see what I'm doing. You actually learn how to do it. And if you have the time, you can actually record the video or take a look at the replay and learn to do it yourself.
Beautiful. How long does it take for one of your clients usually to start getting some tangible results?
Well, if you come in and you don't have a business, it will take you maybe 3 to 6 months. depending if you have a business or maybe you're not clear, you think you have an offer. But if you already have income and you are already processing sales, it can take as little as a week to set up the system.
Wow.
You go through the onboarding process, you just plug in your brand, you plug in your information, and you jump right off into it and start being able to have this system already there and that automation working from you. So if you come in brand new, it can take up to 90 days or more. If you come in and you're ready doing certain things, and let's say you have a WordPress site and you have maybe a PayPal link and maybe you have a course somewhere else on Thinkific or something, we take that information and we can get it into the system in as little as a week if you're willing to put in that work and get you up and running.
Beautiful. You mentioned transformation. Share with us an example of the most remarkable transformation you've had from one of your clients so far.
The aha moment. Aha moments are amazing and interesting and just so joyful to watch, because I do a lot of Zoom meetings, and to ask questions and see the look on someone's face where they go, oh my goodness, I didn't think of it that way. So I had a conversation just recently with a young woman, and she was trying to figure out how does she get a specific thing launched. And she kept pushing back the date on herself. And I can tell it was a bit of fear and a little bit of not knowing what to do next. So I said something like, if I were to give you everything you needed, and all you would do is to put your spin on it, and we can work on your offer, and we can do all of this in an hour, would you be willing to jump for? And her face lit up like, is this a trick? Is this a joke? And at that moment, I just said, okay, let's do it. Do you have an hour to spare? And she had that hour, and we were able to put up, it was so amazing. We were able to put up her landing page. We were able to put up a payment link. She was able to collect money in as little as 3 hours when she said to her group, hey, I have this thing for sale. And she sold one PDF for $300.
What? What was she selling? The PDF.
Amazing. Nutrition.
Wow.
So she sold a diet plan. Now, if you know anything about nutrition, and the only reason I know is because I coach her, nutritionists charge a lot of money because they don't, well, I shouldn't say they don't accept insurance. Insurances don't accept them into their plans. So they have to charge a lot of money. So a lot of nutrition plans, they charge a good $500 just for them to write you up a plan. So she had this information, and it was like, hey guys, I have this nutrition plan, and I'm not going to tell you her niche, but if you're interested in it, I've been working on it. Who wants it? And people put up their hands in their posts, and she sent it away, and she called me back screaming like, I don't believe this. And this is something she just had sitting on her, her laptop, going through the basics and not believing it could sell just because she didn't have something as simple as a way for someone to pay her. And obviously the aesthetics to making it look pretty, because it just wasn't on a Google Doc. We made it look nice in Canva, landing page, sign up page, sales page, boom.
Amazing. Wow.
And she was so happy she cried.
Absolutely. It is an incredible feeling when you see money literally showing up in your inbox. That's like almost like a drug.
For her gift to the world, because she's really good at what she does. And it's I'm not even going to talk about the medical industry, but in a time where so many people are sick and the foods that we eat are unhealthy, what she's offering is a real necessity.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we all have a gift. We all have a piece of wisdom, gold to share. And that's why we are here. Sure, life is a school. We come here to learn lessons, only for us to grow and become better. But that's only 10% of the full reason we're here. But the 90% is taking those gifts, those wisdom, those lessons, sharing them with others, so we can all collectively benefit and all collectively rise together. Because that's, from my understanding, one of the main reasons we are here, to make an impact around us. Even if you can just inspire just one person. This is basically my motto. If me and you, Ianthe, coming here, sharing your story, we can inspire just one person in their way, inspire, empower, give them belief in themselves, whatever. And then that person goes on to transform their lives and then inspires someone else, and so on and so forth. Then for me, that's a success. You don't have to change the world. If you can change one person and help them realize and understand that their voice matters, their story matters, they matter, and they have a gift that needs to be heard and shared, and that for me is success is beautiful. That's what I do that. So yes, absolutely. Um, let's see. How are you getting your clients?
Facebook, a lot of referrals, a lot of networking events, conferences that I go to and I speak at, and podcasts where they just come into my Facebook group. They go to the website, which is kingdomwomenpreneurs.com, and they join the group and they learn things and they just jump in. They just want to say, okay, can you help me?
How do you get into events and getting to speak at those? Because that's something I'm looking myself at right now.
I've just been getting invited. I just honestly I prayed on it and I was not prepared, but like I said, taking action, right? And I thought, I'm not ready to do this. I'm not, I mean, yes, I have these certifications as speaker and all that, but I didn't have a clear plan. So it was kind of like a jump in. And the more I speak on them, the more I get invited to speak. So I figured that that's a blessing. And God is going to take that information, which is now going to be captured and be online forever and ever, most likely, and share it with the right people at the right times.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny that real opportunity, when it comes, you feel you're not ready, but you should still say, yes, I am
Yep.
ready. Never say no, because these are the best. I'm having such an opportunity right now that I felt I'm not ready. But the more I realize that, yes, it's going to be extra work. It's going to be more time consuming, but eventually it's going to lead to something more beautiful that complements what I'm doing right now. So I feel that I'm going through that, and it's beautiful. Once you see something good, seize it and run with it.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, let me ask you now if to wrap things up, a series of rapid fire questions on advices. Ready?
Sure.
What has been so far the best piece of advice that you've received in your life?
Take risks.
Beautiful. And the worst?
That don't you don't this is not going to work. That was the worst piece of advice. This is not going to work.
Yes, I agree. If you were to be blessed to have a time machine and go back in time and sit face to face with the 18-year-old Ianthe, what's the number one piece of advice you would give to her, knowing all that you know now?
You are good enough.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Love that. Now, do you have your own podcast?
No, I don't.
What's the number one reason that's been holding you back so far?
The same thing. It's like, I'm not ready.
Then you know what to do. Jump on it. All right.
I'm
Imagine
not
that
ready.
today,
That's it.
imagine that today you have a podcast and it's very successful. And today you're interviewing the most special person in the world, and that is yourself. So what's the first question you want to ask yourself? Don't think too much. The first thing that comes to your mind.
Why were you so scared?
And you answer?
I have no idea.
Sometimes it's all about taking that first leap of faith, that first step. And the other steps are going to be automatically unfolding in front of you.
And that's exactly what has been happening. So
Beautiful. Now, the last question I will ask you, and that's my favorite question to ask, and that is, what is the smallest thing? And by small, I don't mean something small. I mean the one thing you've done that has had the greatest, deepest, most profound positive impact on both your life and business. For me, for example, Ianthe has been starting my podcast. What about you?
I left my corporate six-figure job and left without turning back.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
for a planner like me, who always has to plan and loves planning, that was the biggest and what seems like the most insignificant thing to do during COVID. That was it.
Yeah. Wow. Now imagine that you had the entire world watching you and you had 30 seconds. What's your message to the world?
Be love.
Expand on that.
If we all we all love to each other, there will be no hate. If we all released our biases and really just looked at each other like human beings, not race, not color, not gender, not religion, not politics, not financial or class, if we just looked at each other as other human beings and treated each other as if we want ourselves to be treated, like really, not just the cliche love your neighbor stuff. I'm talking about really treat each other the way we wanted to be treated. That's it. That's really how simple it is. Think about it. If we were to just be love, there will be no hunger. Because then I'm looking to feed you just as you're looking to feed another and another and another.
Yeah.
If we would just be love, there would be no financial deficit, because I would understand that I have this much, I should give 10%. I should give whatever amount. I say 10% because of tithing, but to the poor without a thought, because there's just love.
Absolutely.
So many of the world's problems would be solved. Politicians and the right side, the Democrats and the Republicans, and all of this stuff that we're talking about, financial collapse of the banking system, rates, interest rates, everything we're talking about, the wars that are going on silently that we don't know about, the class issue, there would be none of that. So people try to solve even the climate problem. If we were to be loved, we would not be doing this to the earth. We would not be doing these things. So if we were to just start there, it's very simple. Not try to figure out which politician is better than the other, which race is higher than the other, which person has more money than the other, which one can do this and that versus the other. All of the major life's problems would be solved.
Absolutely. Beautiful. I'm totally with you on that. Absolutely. It's what we need, especially after living abroad and for the past 20 years in my life. At the end of the day, we're all the same, whether you're white, black, blue, green, whatever. We all have, even if you don't speak the same language, we all want the same thing: to be respected, loved, have the opportunity to provide for your family and achieve your goals and dreams. That's all everybody wants.
Yes.
Whether you're American,
Yes.
Chinese, Afghan, Italian, Brazilian, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're all the same thing. At the end of the day, we all have the same red blood. We're all connected. We all, drops of the same ocean. Because that's what we are. At the end of the day, we're all going back to source, to God, to whatever you want to call it.
Yes. And my friend today that I met, he's a pastor, and he said, ABCs, you have to accept, you have to let people belong, let them feel belong, and you also have to let them know that they're cared for. And those are the three things to be in love.
Beautiful.
Acceptance, belonging, and caring for them.
Beautiful. What's the most important lesson you've learned so far in your life?
To be patient.
Yes.
To be patient is in everything. To be patient in dealing with my children, my spouse, to be patient with myself, to be patient with others, to be patient when I'm learning something new, to be patient with my growth, to be patient.
Yes, that is powerful. And being patient has also saved me in a few times, because sometimes I used to run my mouth, but being patient allowed me to pause, reflect, and just avoid the situation from blowing up. How has failure shaped your life?
Failure not necessarily has shaped my life. Getting back up after failure has shaped my life, because the more that I fail, the more that I get back up and I learn. If I don't get back up, I'm not learning anything from that. If I don't get back up, I'm not growing. And there's a saying, if you're not growing, then you are dying. If you're not growing, you're stagnant. And, think of a plant. If a plant is not growing, it's dying. It's either one way or the other. So my lessons from failure is to get back up, no matter how it was I failed. Getting back up is the most important lesson from failure.
Sure. And speaking of learning, what are you learning right now?
I am learning to be more of an active participant in my business. I'm a behind the keyboard types of gal, always been in that support role, like I said. So being an active participant, I mean by being out there more. Like I said, the podcast, I'm not ready. Going out there and doing it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Videos, trainings, I'm not ready. I can tell you how to do it. I can do it for you. I can show you how to do it.
Sure.
Going on screen and doing it anyway. So being an active participant in it, not just being behind the keyboard and behind a desk, is what I'm learning to do right now.
Beautiful. What have you read that I should read?
You know what I'm reading right now? The Greatest Salesman in the World.
Writing this down. I heard about this for a
Yes.
long time, but the greatest salesman.
In the world. It's by Og Mandingo. I have the book, but I have the Audible because
Yes.
the reading of it is so dynamic. I don't know if you ever read what is it by Paulo
Coelho?
Coelho.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's like that book. And my
Wow.
husband would be like, how do you not know it? Because we've read it so many times. But
Yes.
it's like that. And I'm reading that. I'm actually listening into the car when I'm driving with my husband and the kids. And it's so breathtaking that I say,
Yes.
it's only 2 hours long on audiobook. It's not
Really?
long,
Wow.
2 hours and something change. But I have put this book on repeat at least 3 times already.
All right. I'm getting it right after this on Audibles. Absolutely.
So I'm reading it. And you know what one of his laws are? Love.
Oh, yes. Love is the greatest, is the secret of the universe. Because we all
Yes.
love. Yes.
So no spoiler alert, but he goes through and
Yeah.
just that, listening to that and being really, like I said, a participant in changing not necessarily how I do it, but why I do it. And the thought process behind it has been amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Now, what have you experienced that I should experience?
Let's see. I could always talk about food, but let's talk about what have you ever been to the Dominican Republic? You've said you've traveled many,
Yes.
many places.
It's on my list when I come back to that part of the world. Yes.
And then after you visit there, you may want to visit the island I was born in, is St. Lucia, and visit the
Oh,
Piton Mountains. Yes.
amazing. Wow. All right. Beautiful. Yeah, definitely know that. Who do you know that I should know?
Let's see. What do I know that you should know?
Especially, I'm looking for people who have not just inspiring, empowering stories, because we all do. At this time, I'm looking for people who have goosebump inducing stories to showcase them on my podcast.
Got it. You should know that you are important. What you do matters.
Absolutely. It's what I say all the time.
So when you, a few weeks back, and I read that your YouTube channel, and I was like, this guy's making an impact, and I hope he knows that he's important.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. Wow. How can I serve you? How can I help you?
Well, you're helping me now. I'll be on your podcast. I'll get more exposure and good conversation and learning about you and just networking with you. It's a blessing. I believe when the time is right, divine connection will lead us down another path where we may work together. We may know somebody in the same circle that needs our help. I will be able to refer to you and you can refer to me. So I believe just this conversation is help.
Absolutely. If someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
KingdomWomenpreneurs.com, or you can find me on Facebook.
What's your Facebook?
Search Ianthe Hernandez.
Okay.
My name, and it will come up.
I'll put all of that in the show notes. Listen, Ianthe, absolute pleasure talking to you. I salute you. You're truly to the heart. Keep shining your light. You're blessing the world, your presence, your impact, your vision, your mission, your service, everything you do. Stay safe, stay awesome. God bless you. We're definitely going to be talking a lot more in the future. So have as we say in Canada, have a fantabulous evening and have a beautiful long weekend ahead of you. Take care.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, and God bless you too.
Same here.